County Commission's order, August 25th, 2020. You have the flag salute?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a chance to look over the previous meeting minutes. Any changes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Aye. Signing the motions.
We had 4 motions from the last meeting to sign. The first motion is 20-343, that the consent agenda be approved. The next motion is 20-344, to recess this open session and go into a closed executive session for a period of not more than 15 minutes to discuss health department personnel under non-elected personnel, and to include the Board of County Commissioners, County Councilor Jim Emerson, County Health Officer Dr. Tim Stebbins, Deputy County Health Officer Dr. Linda Bean, Health Department Executive Director Michael Ely, and Health Department Director Rebecca Adamson, and to reconvene by 10:25 a.m. The next motion is 20-345, to recess this open session and go into a closed executive session for a period of not more than 10 minutes to discuss items that will be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, to discuss landfill negotiations, and to include the Board of County Commissioners and County Councilor Jim Emerson, and to reconvene by 11:30 a.m. And the last motion is 20-346, to recess this open session and go into a closed executive session for a period of not more than 10 minutes to discuss employee compensation under non-elected personnel, and to include the Board of County Commissioners and County Councilor Jim Emerson, and to reconvene by 11:42 a.m.
Long executive session.
That's a long time, till 11:42 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
All right. I guess moving on, we're a little bit different today, so they didn't send us any sort of, the health department didn't send us anything this morning. We're just going to update Friday, correct? That's how we're doing. Okay. Samantha, you didn't need anything from us today, okay? Dickie, did you need anything? Okay. Sheriff, before I move on to, I'm just trying to give everybody a fair.
Non-COVID related.
That's perfect. Let's do
I'll
this.
take it.
I was going to mention and let you guys know that Commissioner Johnson, I know you're familiar. We partnered with Community Health Southeast Kansas for that the Medicaid assisted treatment for inmates. So we have launched that. So it's something we were approached by Krista Postai last fall. And of course, COVID stuff kind of delayed things, so we weren't really able to get it going. But we did launch it, and basically this is a program that's going to assist inmates with addiction and mental illness, and so it's all grant funded, and so basically they're going to have a navigator that helps oversee this, because the issue they have with inmates that we do have, whether you don't know if they're going to be there 6 days, 6 months, 6 weeks, and this is going to allow them to have resources at our facility, and when they get out, it's going to take care of some of the costs of things. And so it'll have some of the same resources that they would have there in a controlled environment that they would actually have out there to help try to facilitate them recovering. So we have launched that. It starts when they come in the door with a screening, with a medical screening, and the medical staff will basically find candidates, and they've already started doing that. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we're up and going on that, and I'm pretty excited about it because I think this is something to, if you're trying to end the cycle of a revolving door with addiction and the crime that comes with it, I mean, it goes hand in hand. So if this is something that can get that to stop, but we've partnered with Community Health Southeast Kansas with this, and they asked us to be part of this pilot project, and you know, if we get 1 out of 10, it helps somebody. I think
Right.
it'll be definitely a great program. So we're pretty excited about it because there's nothing we've seen before.
Well,
So-
we're gonna see how it works out.
Absolutely,
Keep us
no,
updated if-
we're anxious to see. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we are up and going on that. It's been a kind of long time coming. The COVID thing really put a big delay on it, but we've been able to meet, and I think it's gonna be a great program. I really am. I'm excited about it. So I just
Good.
wanted to give you guys a heads up on
And
that.
then
that we're
speaking
doing
about
that.
COVID, so far, everything's been.
Good so far. No,
Seamless. I
we've
know
been, I
there's-
mean,
there's some
I
other
feel like it's
counties-
inevitable. I really do. I don't know. We have some protocols set up, and, you know, we're still doing a controlled access in the front lobby. We actually have a wall-mounted thermometer that people can get their temperature taken. But as far as staff, they all come in the same door. They got to check their temperature, wash their hands, all that good stuff. So, I mean, because really the inmates are probably the safest ones in the county because they're
Right.
in a controlled environment.
Well, they're only safe because the people who work for you are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, and that's
I
the
mean,
thing
that's-
is, their biggest is going to be us getting them sick, and so, you know, I don't know. I mean, everybody's doing a good job, and I feel like it's inevitable. It might happen, but so far we've been really good on trying to keep those mitigating those, you know, the chances of us getting that. So I've had a couple of scares with just the people, the first responders on the front lines, and they're all good, and so. I don't know, but no, we're good.
Nope, you're doing a good job, 'cause that's-
I don't know.
Listen to the radio, and I won't disclose other counties, but there's some counties going through a nightmare. in their-
Yeah, and they
in their
are.
jails.
And it could happen with us. I mean, I don't know. We're just trying to do what we can.
Quick,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and the issue is, I mean, we don't want anybody getting sick, and you don't want to deal with the medical costs that are associated with that also. I mean, so, I mean, there's just some liabilities that we want to try to keep low if we can, and we've been able to do it so far, but like I say,
Yeah.
you know, it could change today.
Well, like I
We can
said,
just
it
do-
comes down to who's working for you. They're doing a good job. So
No,
make
they
sure-
all are.
Make sure
They're-
they know that. We
No, they're
appreciate
doing a
it.
good job, and I'll let them know. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, I guess we'll move on to new business. Jim?
Maybe next time, Don, huh?
Something about
I
Don,
have to talk to Bobby about that.
What's that?
not a new business.
I eliminated
Oh, you
myself.
eliminated yourself
That's
two
all right.
days.
I didn't have any new business.
Sorry,
That's a good
well,
thing. That's
I
all
read
right.
what I
Yeah.
see right here.
You're
Barely
good.
breathe
That's
that down.
Yeah, that's what's on the paper.
Wow.
First,
Good
I'd like
thought.
to request an executive session at the end of the meeting. The three commissioners, myself and Pete Peterson, on a call for 20 minutes
Okay,
under attorney-client privilege. Yeah, regarding the landfill negotiations. And then second, Michael Ealing has requested a work session Friday, beginning at 9 o'clock, just to talk a little bit about Spark Money and some of the new employees that they've hired at the health department, just see how it all will fit
okay.
while the money's here and then after. So that's all I had for new business.
All
You
right.
say 20 minutes on that, Jim?
Yes. Tom?
No, sir, I have no new business.
Jeremy?
I talked to Brandon, and he said that they'd be willing to do their executive session to discuss the technology in this room that they're doing for the upgrade. And he said we could do that today. So at the end of the meeting, I'll request one for 15 minutes with Commissioners Council and Brandon Spar and Jim Vinci. And that's all I had for new
What's
business.
that under?
Non-elected?
Yes, yep.
Okay. I guess this falls within new business. Before the meeting today, met with Rusty, and Jim was in there. McCune's having difficulty with their water system. So he was getting 3 pallets of water today to take out there for drinking water for whoever needs it.
Wow.
We'll probably have some sort of, so they're trying to temporarily fix the water system. 3 weeks from now, they're gonna be doing some sort of repair. We may have to try to help them out some way on that with non-potable and potable water. So we're gonna figure out that. But just to let you know,
Yeah, if you need any help with that, let us know.
okay, I think we're gonna use our tanker to try to figure out a non-potable solution so people have access to some water. They're assuming it may take a day, but it could be up to 3 to fix it.
Boy.
I don't know. And I'm gonna call Cherokee, because it sounds like Cherokee's tied into their system. If there's any way we can help make it where we don't use a tanker.
Cherokee and a boil water.
Right, and that's kind of all related somehow. But Cherokee's got theirs back, but they got a hole in their tower. That sound right? Yeah. So anyway, let you know that's going on. Did we want to discuss the 911 vehicle right now? Did he leave that?
I have it.
You have it, okay.
Yeah, I grabbed it.
I thought he left it. And then I don't know. So the way I understand it, this is to replace one that we're utilizing through the sheriff's department right now.
Yeah,
And
this is for 911?
911. And I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been paying more attention to all the tower projects. I've seen him at towers almost every day. It's good to catch people working with where they're supposed to be. I think he's doing a great, that sounds bad, but it is. You drive by and say, hey, they're there today. So it sounded like the other one had a lot of mileage, is trying to clean up the system, right? I mean, since we're kind of his own, I don't want to say department, it's different. How do you see that facilitated?
We're in different paths.
Right, so it kind of
Do we
cleans.
know, did he go out to any other auto dealerships or?
I don't know on that. We can ask. It sounded like, that sounds, cheap.
Yeah, it
And I think the
does.
reason why it's cheap is I think some other county ordered it and backed out, the way I understood it. And I think that's why that's
I
so
saw that,
cheap.
yeah.
That's the cheapest one I've seen.
It is, that's very reasonable. I would like to see him talk to the other local dealerships to
Okay.
see if, at least give him the opportunity.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and then,
Yep.
I'm all right
No, that's fine.
with doing it, but.
Yeah, I didn't,
Yeah.
we can let him know. All right. This would be new business, so I know we're stacking executive sessions here, but I'm gonna call one for 10 minutes under non-elected personnel. Into the meeting's fine. And really it has to do with the health department. Okay, old business. Don, you're on this list.
Okay. I wanted to let you know, we had a Zoom meeting yesterday. Jim Emerson, Joe Grisolano, Randy Ryan from the fiscal office, and myself were on with Monica Renan and Bonnie Hauk from Greenbush, and kind of just going over the logistics and how the workflow will go with, once we start issuing checks,
Okay.
how we're gonna run them through our system, how they'll get information to us about, what's been approved by the state. Do they have all the documentation? Do they have the memorandum of understanding? Do they have the W-9? Because it sounds like a lot of that will be taxable, so we'll have to have information. Some of those we do for like school districts and some of the governmental entities that we already issue checks to, but we talked to Randy and Joe and Jim and I before getting on with Monica and Bonnie about trying to segregate it on our system so that we make it easier for our auditors to identify those payments, because they'll be probably a separate audit for those items. So we wanted to, separate them, as far as how it flows through our books, from other payments, from tax payments to USD, 250 versus COVID-19 reimbursements or the direct aid programs. And so it was a really good meeting. They have access to a lot of good technology. Of course, that's kind of their forte, their strong suit out there is dealing with that and being able to ship us the documentation and information that we'll need to put that into our system. But it was a really good meeting. You can tell Monica and Bonnie have dealt with those kind of things a lot. So having them as partners or whatever in making sure that all gets to the right people in the right amounts, it's going to be a big help for us. But pretty soon, they're saying by September 15th that we should have word from the state about approvals, on different requests. So, and we know those people will be needing that money as soon as they can for one of those programs.
Sure.
So, anyway, just wanted to let you know what was going on there. Is that none of those checks will be issued until you guys sign off on them. So we'll end up kind of with a list of, okay, these are the ones that have gone through all the steps and we have all the documentation in hand that we need from them, and we're ready to ship the money out the door and pass them by you guys in a meeting and make sure everybody's kind of in agreement that those are the payments that need to be made that week or whatever. In fact, we're setting up a schedule. It's about every 2-week schedule that we issue checks and try to keep that separate from our regular accounts payable and things like that, payroll, and keep them, out of the way of each other. But anyway, just wanted to let you know about that. That's all I had.
Okay, sounds good. Jim?
I have a couple things to discuss, but first, I want people that are watching and maybe the newspaper to remind our businesses, especially smaller businesses, that tomorrow is the deadline for Crawford County Round 2 of small business funding. So make sure, I think we have 30-some applications
Good.
that are already in. We'd love to see some more. We've got the money set aside. So I hope people log on to crawfordcountykansas.org. There's a Spark link, I think, right there where they can scroll down and find it. It's an easy application. Be sure to get those in. On the CDBG CV grant, we were able to get a fillable forms from Susan in Chanute. I think that's now up on the website. Hopefully they'll make that a little bit easier for people to fill in and get it sent in. We do not have many applications under that grant, so we'd like to be sure people are applying for that. I know it's hard, I know it's not as easy, but I know Susan will help and we'll help businesses that want to try to apply for that.
Okay.
And the final thing I wanted to talk about, we've talked a little bit about initially for the sewer project, the state was going to reimburse us for what we paid out of our federal fund exchange money. We talked a week or two ago and tried to shut that down, just decided that the bill wasn't near as much as we thought, and we could pay that out of regular funds.
Yeah.
The message, dealing with too many different people, I think. Well, tomorrow we're going to get about $400,000.
Oh my God.
So what I thought I'd do, and I can visit with Joe and visit with Alyssa, since that money is targeted for road and bridge use, I think we ought to put it in a fund for road and bridge. I don't think we're
How much did
hurting.
you say it was, Jim?
It's gonna be roughly about 400,000. We submitted everything, but they haven't
Can't see it,
processed.
I'm smiling.
Okay, okay. So we will be receiving that money. I think road and bridge is where it comes out of, and we ought to park it there. We can put it in a fund, and I'll talk to Joe and Alyssa, and maybe we can just put it there. We decided not to take it, but the message was, yeah, just didn't get to the right people, so it'll be here tomorrow.
Okay.
There's no use trying to flip that around. We'll just park it in a fund for road and bridge.
So then it will be taken out for the next couple of years out of
Then it
our,
will be taken out for the next couple of years, but we'll already have the money.
right,
So there's no
we'll pay it off
impact.
using that.
There's no impact to road and bridge.
Right.
And the project's paid for, so a little bit different than what we thought, but it'll work out fine. So,
Perfect.
and I think that's all I had.
Okay.
Okay.
Tom?
No, sir.
Jeremy?
I did not have any old business.
No, I think I'm good. So I guess you want to do the one with attorneys first?
Let's, do you want to do that one first, or do the smaller ones and get them behind us? Because this, we
Is he-
may have to come.
Is he ready?
He's gonna be out by 10.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
let's, yep.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to go into executive session for the period of 20 minutes, attorney-client privilege, with 3 commissioners, counsel, and is it just Pete Peterson? And topic landfill contract.
Second.
All right.
Hey, Tim, let me look for that. I kind of lost, you want that solid waste?
I don't think it is, yeah. I have one from 1994. You probably want that. I don't know if it's relevant anymore, but you know.
That's back when they made
This one. The new one's a lot thinner, let's say that.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Yeah,
Just talk or something else.
let's talk. Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks, Tim.
That's when solid waste was really solid back in '94.
I printed off KDHE's rules and regs for the state of Kansas, yours is that thick.
You know,
Back in Arkansas, just the landfill rules and regs is that thick.
oh, really?
That's just reg 22, that's just one of the regulations. Arkansas also regulates state rules. I ain't gonna hurry.
Copy of it. I know, but you get the next phone call and the next phone call and the next phone call. And what was that phone call this morning I got? My,
Oh, I was sitting in Hayes, Kansas last week when I called you, talked to you about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it, couldn't find Jack. And I'm like, really?
oh,
I would have thought, but you know, hey, it ain't just Jones County.
yeah. It's,
Don, I couldn't find it nowhere. The only counties I could find that had it on the websites published was your big, the counties that have the big cities in, like Topeka, Kansas City, places like that, Manhattan.
look here and see. Oh my God, it's probably, well, might be. Look, it might look, I don't think it'd be in with the sewer districts.
You would put it up KDHE,
You That's a good wastewater treatment information. Waste. I don't think it'd be in that. I mean, as we, let me just, it's probably I'm probably in the wrong thing here. Let me go, let's look at commission documents.
Mr. Peterson, is he on phone call or
Is on, yeah, by phone
via
call.
phone? Okay,
Hey,
thanks.
Bobby,
Yes, sir.
you don't know where a copy of our solid waste plan, most recent,
Solid
looking
waste.
in,
That's not the agreement, that's not the landfill agreement, that's not what we're
no,
looking for.
no, this is our, something the solid waste committee would have adopted.
Okay, let me see what I can find.
Let me get back out here into.
It's not something you deal with very often, so you don't know.
No, yeah. What I could do is go in, I could figure out when's the last time we approved one. It's,
Well, there has to be one.
I
Online,
really-
I was reading, it was, you don't remember, it's been updated in 5 or 10 years.
let's see here. Have to get up here. Let's see. Oh, come on. Let's see, okay. Nothing in, this is 2019, I looked through them a year at a time.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's, well, I'm gonna go ahead and close that one.
In 2017, they approved a solid waste plan update,
Oh, yeah,
motion reference.
motion reference? Yeah, I hadn't got there yet, oh,
And-
you're
and
sure.
which one are you in?
I was starting at 19.
Okay, I think it was 18 then, maybe, that I got it. I got it wrong.
Okay, let me look here real quick. Oh, 18, okay. One, terminating, at the end of 17, that we terminated our participation in the Southeast Kansas Solid Waste.
Solid Waste Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then the next year, evidently, we redid our old plan. Let's close that one. And if I can find, then when I find what meeting, we'll have all the stuff from that meeting
Yeah.
together. Let's go. Okay, so let's. Okay, approve the contract. That's not it. To approve leaving Crawford County, okay. To approve her to the solid waste committee. Like 18's our year to open the public hearing on the update, yeah, and we would have then closed the hearing and we would have approved it. Okay, so that was in our October 26th meeting. So let me get our October 26th, 2018.
Under supporting documents.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the actual. There's okay. October 26, 2018. Let me look at that. I might have it too, yeah, like you said, in the that supporting documents file. Docs. It's October. I don't see it in there. October was maybe September. I don't see it there. So what I don't have it, looks like, in my supporting docs. I'm probably just gonna have to go pull the file for that meeting, October 26th, which I'm not sure if we've taken that to the basement
So
yet.
that may already be boxed up.
Yeah. I got the, what's that? Yeah, I don't think they would care. Yeah, we were looking at, this thing talks about the 2012 update, you know, it was got it, and it as well.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so, no, but this is the last time they went through the whole plan. What I'll have Bobby do is pull that apart and just make a copy of that whole thing. for you.
That'll get you started, didn't it?
I'll give you that, it was in. May need it.
Because Jeremy said one he had was from 1996.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No, you're welcome. Did they go in about 10:30, was it?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Jim keeps good track when they go in to make sure they're out on time. Guess that's what the attorney's supposed to do. Okay, those are.
They have any luck in that department?
What's that?
The landfill.
I have no idea. I know I think they probably raked him over the coals about
Looks like they got
that.
their eyes on one, that's what they
Yeah, about that, you know.
A
Yeah.
couple of them wasn't happy at all, so.
Well, that's stuff you need to know,
Yeah.
you know? You need to, and it's not probably hard to find that information.
Well, you know, when Jeremy called me that Friday, like I told him, I said, we've heard it for sale, or they've been bought for a year now. But that stuff don't always come out, it's not gonna come out right away until it's,
Yeah.
you know, within a certain time frame that it's an actual done deal. I saw it in print when I was gone out of town, I just forwarded an email to him, I said, hey, it's official, and I said, print.
Yeah, that's
We can be here in 6 months.
that can make a big difference in your negotiations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And when Jeremy said they throw timeline on them, I said, nah. If they've sold, it appears they have, there's a deadline being set by the company buying it, all your negotiations and contracts and all that stuff's got to be finished by next day. Such and such day.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen before.
yeah, well, they need all that tied up before
When
the,
everything tied, all loose ends got to be tied up before it's official. Finalized. Usually before money changes.
that's the one thing about, you know, with landfills, even our old landfills, it was closed, whatever, 30 years ago, but there's still liability
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. And you've got to monitor it, you've got to,
Was your old one, was they pre-subdivided?
I think so.
I figured they were. I got online over in Hayes last week when I was trying to find stuff, what looking for all the landfills this area was located at. And I seen at least 2 of them still under Crawford County name. I thought, yeah, it's been an old landfill.
Look, come here, see what I found. I think I found him.
No, didn't have.
Sorry, I keep waiting here. I gotta get my notes. Okay, so we're going to this second executive session, period of 15 minutes. Under non-elected personnel, 3 commissioners, council, Brandon Spar and Jim Vinzi. What was the topic? Just
IT upgrades.
IT upgrades.
Second.
Aye.
Got 15 minutes?
Get you walking out of here with a lot of paper.
That's all right.
That's right.
It's very material, you know?
I might do that right now. I was gonna email Dr. Triplett and just make sure, because he's been involved with, been the chair of it for,
Forever. ain't
well,
it?
yeah, pretty
What I
much.
took the other day.
Yeah. Um, they- get back from him here. Oh,
I guarantee you can't do it somewhere.
yeah, he probably does, and I mean, which is a good thing. I mean, I would want him to have one.
Well,
We need to have one sitting in there
he's
too.
too thorough for me not to have.
Yeah, he's probably got, you know, my gosh, my wife, God love her, we bought, we had a couple storage sheds in our place. We got a roll-off to tear that one, you know, demolish it. The other one wasn't in too bad a shape, but we moved it. We got Adam Lusker come over and pick it up with his forklift, and I poured a pad for it, a concrete pad, and we put it down on it, and then we bought this bigger shed, one of these Holden buildings or whatever. It's a 16 by 32, so it's a pretty good size thing. Well, you know, I like to keep, you know, lumber and pipe and stuff. Just, you know, you never know what you're gonna need, you know, for something, for a project or whatever. And, you know, and she's, you know, we're going through all that stuff, so we had to pull it all out of those things, and half of it was sitting out in the yard or in the garage, you know, and stuff, and until we got the thing in there. And, do you really need this? You know, well, not today, but I might, you know, I might next week, or I might 6 months from now.
I can't promise you where I'll need it.
That's right. Oh, yeah. So luckily, we've got pretty much everything back in, and there's still a lot of room in there that isn't filled up. So that's good. If we'd really had to been stuffing stuff in the corners, then it's got a loft on each end too. That's open. It's, you know, about, you know, 4 to 5 foot tall in the middle, and, you know, comes down, and that's a great place for putting lumber and pipe and stuff like that up there out of the way, which is hard to store anyway. So
When my mom moved out from Arkansas, Arizona with her sister, they had a building over there. When she sold the house, the building didn't go with it. We had to hire a guy, he came move before, put it down in our house. That's what we done, bunch of lumber and stuff Daddy had. When we cleaned out the garage and everything, we just stuck it up in the rafters, but I had a loft there, like you talk about being cheap. That's what we used it for, just storage lumber.
that's,
And salvage, so
yeah.
everybody might dig your garage,
Yeah.
it's easy to slip in and out.
I wonder, my brother-in-law, I've got 6 sisters, so I got a lot of brother-in-laws. So anyway, one of them, my oldest sister Carolyn and her husband Kelly, I don't know, Mathis Drug, there's a drugstore here in town, Mathis Drug. Well, Kelly is Glenn's older brother, and they got a drugstore in McPherson. They're big into selling drugs, those guys, those Mathises. But he loves to tinker with stuff and work on things, and he's still got his old, you know, 62 Chevy Impala that he's overhauled, you know, a couple of times himself. You know, he just likes working on stuff like that. He where was that? He got the stairway out of an old house there and salvaged. They were, you know, going to tear it down. He salvaged all the lumber out of it. Well, it's been sitting in their garage in pieces, you know, for probably 30 years now. We were talking about that the other day. I haven't been out to see him for a while. Since I wonder if Kelly's still got all that wood in their garage. You know, he's got a shitload of stuff in there.
The wife looked at you and said, no.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. We could get into that stuff. Oh, we've moved several times. We moved out to western Kansas for a couple of years. We were not too far from Hayes for a couple of years. LaDonna was a principal out there. A little town, Burdett was, you know, about a town of 250, 300 probably. that might not have been that much, you know, I mean, I don't know. But it's, you know, we were out there for a couple of years and then back here and then in Ottawa for 8 years. So when you move that many times, you shed a lot of the baggage, the excess baggage, and she's real good about that. And, you know, I had some old spotlights for the yard and that I picked up somewhere and some things like that. And yeah, you get, after you move it once, like, you know what, it's been 3 years and I haven't used it yet, I probably just throw this away.
Well, this way, the place I got in Arkansas, I've been there since 2005, and there's some stuff I just never had been through. I hear all back when I don't want to do it, I just start throwing it away. Like I had 4 or 5 trash cans out there full, I told the kids, next time we come home, we gotta go trash, and we're gonna landfill that out there.
Yeah, she was taking a load to recycling today of, I had the house that we were in now, they had a deal, it's got a pool behind it, in-ground pool, and they had a deal for rolling up a cover you could put on it, take it off, and it has these big, they look like, kind of like pipe, but they're aluminum shafts that kind of, they slide together, so it makes it longer, and then they had a little handle on the end that you rolled it up with, and we never really used it very much. We used it maybe 1 year, and we just leave it out, you know, leave the top off all the time until we close it, you know, for the winter. And still had those things, you know. We've been there for 16 years. We maybe haven't used them for 15 years, and they're all aluminum, you know, like. Yeah, take them to recycling, or, you know.
Doesn't do anything with them out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got another one, don't you? That's right.
And last one, 10 minutes under non-elected personnel, 3 commissioners council, topic health department.
Second.
Aye.
What?
So they're cracking them off now.
Yeah. Getting good at it. Oh, heck.
Maybe they do, they all think good.
Yeah. You know, when I first started doing this, they didn't call very many executive sessions. But I know they probably, that some of the conversations they had before the meetings probably should have been, you know.
Some of that stuff just.
And that's, people watch that stuff more too now, so you better follow those rules.
You can't just talk about everything in front of an open session.
Yeah.
You probably ought to be able to, but you can't.
Yeah, it really kind of handcuffs you sometimes. You can't, a lot of business you need to address, you don't maybe because of the open meetings rules and things like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 of them show them the same place, it can be considered legal.
It can be, if they're, according to the law, if they talk about any kind of business of the county. You know, if they're just talking about fishing, but people see them together and say, hey, those guys they're violating open meetings, you know. And I've been to a lot of, you know, probably 8 or 10 of workshops on Open Meetings Act and Open Records Act, and they say, you know, it's always somebody from the Attorney General's office that's kind of ramrods that as their expert in it. And you know, we get hundreds of phone calls about people think they're violating the Open Meetings Act, and when, you know, unless you have,
It's gotta be a headache for them.
yeah,
I mean, you can't always plan, you're gonna be, 2 of them I should have signed those backs.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, we're real careful to try to announce it if they're going to a banquet or something like that, yeah.
You know, several commissioners It's a football game.
Yeah. Don't be alone together, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
I've seen that more prevalent of here than anywhere I've ever been. Y'all seem to be more aware, and probably because you've been ranking it.
Well, a lot of,
Aware of the rules in a lot of places
a
are.
lot of the stuff in the motions there has changed because they decided, hey, you can't just have a motion to go into executive session. You need to have the reason. First, you had to have there's 5 reasons you can have one. Then you got to have what you're discussing kind of now, you know, that we say to discuss health department personnel under non-elected personnel is one of the reasons, attorney-client privilege or contract negotiations, you know. Then they said, you need to put in the time or the time that they'll reconvene. So that's why we always end to reconvene by such and such time. You know, that's the latest. That would be the full 20 minutes or the full 30 minutes. A lot of times it doesn't take that long and they're in, you know, it's called for 15, they're back in 10 or whatever. But yeah, it's like, you know, trying to make sure you're following, especially the easy rules to follow on those things.
You don't want to football the easy ones.
Yeah. Don't want to give people a lot of reasons to be calling the Attorney General's office.
You want to give them something simple if they,
Yeah.
they're all, most of them, somebody's always looking anyway, you know?
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
we
I
gotta
don't know. Yeah, there's people that are listening to us right now.
That's what I tell my guys, get out of this road. Somebody's always watching.
Yeah. Well, anymore especially, I mean, is when you see all the videos, the things get posted, and, you know, my niece, we had she was visiting here a couple weeks ago, and they had a situation in the yard across the road, and people yelling at each other, one in the car in the driveway and one in on the front porch, and yada yada, and then the guy's out of his car, you know, yeah, they're yelling at each other, you know, come on down off that porch, yada yada, and yeah, you know, and Noel says, I'm just recording stuff, because you can, I mean, we were 100 yards away and we could hear them like it was right there, they're yelling at each other so loud. And we called the police anyway. The police ended up spending about an hour and a half down there sorting it out. But it's like, you know, but those things, and almost everybody's got one in their pocket, you know. They're great. I love being able to video my grandkids anytime I feel like I want to, you know.
It ain't like the old days where we had to carry around a video camera. and show us.
We had one for a while. It was like, it's as big as what they use for the filming the TV stuff. I mean, it had a thing so it sat on your shoulder and had an eyepiece that came over, you know, so it was designed for you to set it on your shoulder. And remember, LaDonna she'd end up having to wear a wrist brace because she'd been using that, you know. My wrist is killing me. Oh, you were videotaping again, weren't you? You know, you gotta be strong. Yeah, now
I ain't just pick up.
and it's great. Even the sound on it's great. Though our youngest son, anyway, he started doing these. He's got a YouTube channel he started up about 2 or 3 months ago, but he does reviews, critiques horror movies. He loves horror movies, and he's done about, I don't know, maybe 10 little sessions that we recorded with cell phone and down in the basement, and he posts it on his YouTube channel and throws it out. He's got 50 or 60 people that follow his little things, and he loves doing it. You know, well, he does a really good job. He gets into that stuff, and he knows when he starts talking about it. I mean, he'll come upstairs and talk to us. Yeah, I watched this movie, had so-and-so in it, you know, they were in this 1995 movie, such and such, and they were in this movie, you know, and had the same director as Pumpkinhead, you know. Okay, really? Yeah, and he enjoys it, so,
He enjoys it.
yeah. And some other people enjoy looking at him. He likes to go on other channels, people who do kind of the same thing, and see what they're watching, you know. He loves to go over that vintage stock and browse through, you know, used movies.
Oh, that's one of the job.
Yeah, and they got a huge selection, and it's a lot of used stuff, and he'll take some old ones and sell them to them, and get some new ones.
Somebody was telling me about that place, I guess they were looking for old vinyl records.
Yeah, yeah, I bought some albums there anyway, and they still have, you know, new releases too on vinyl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know his album.
It's a big place, you know, and they've got, got a big book sections, bookstore, you know, then a lot of video, even some musical instruments, things like that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you that, talk about, you know, shops and how they get kind of overloaded with stuff. Though our niece, her stepbrother, he has a masonry business over in Pittsburgh. Derek Hikus is his name. He does block and stonework and stuff. And guy who worked with him knew this guy that had this building uptown, and he collects a lot of stuff. And they went up there, and he had an old pop machine that Derek wanted real bad. Anyway, when he died, he had one brother. He wasn't married, didn't have any kids or anything. He had one brother that lived like in Connecticut or Rhode Island or something. Came here to his brother came to kind of get his estate taken care of, you know, and stuff. And he was going to go up and clean up that building. And said he opened that door, he saw all that stuff. He just shut it. Not dealing with it. Yeah.
How are you? Good, and you?
Good. Anything else? Tim, do you have anything?
No.
I missed you earlier.
I'm chasing down information from John.
Okay, so Mike is on be here the 28th, the work session. Is that what you,
Yeah.
Mike Healy? So I guess,
Be 9 o'clock.
yeah, August 28th, there's an 8:30 a.m. work session to review and sign August 2020 bills and payroll vouchers. Also, August 28th, 9 a.m. work session with Mr. Mike Ealing. Commission to discuss the Sparks funding, is that correct?
Sparks Funding Health Department.
Sparks Funding Health Department. Also, August 28th, 2020, 10 a.m. public hearing on Crawford County 2021 budget. Also on August 28th, Britton Brenner, City of Pittsburgh Community Development Specialist, discussing the 2020 census. September 1st, 10 a.m. public hearing on Crawford County Fire District number 1, 2, 3, 4, 2021 budgets. And under announcements, the courthouse in Girard is open to the public from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. starting June 1st, 2020 until further notice. The motor vehicle office at the Judicial Center in Pittsburgh will remain closed, but residents may use the drop box at the security desk at the Judicial Center for motor vehicle and tax payments to be processed at the courthouse. You could shorten that up. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further business, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.